everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your sixth Perry Mason Season 2 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there. It's been a long week. I was originally trying to get an in-between episode out between these two, but personal things got in the way, so I wasn't able to make the time to do so, but that episode will happen at some point. But if you don't care about Perry Mason, who cares? Here we are, another week. I'm still, now that we're in, we got 2 episodes left after this one, I'm still trying to wrap my head around of the final puzzle pieces we need. I feel like next week is going to be the big moment where we're going to get all the last puzzle pieces and it will be like the grand slam. But this episode was pretty good. I don't feel like it was on par with the last 2 weeks in my opinion. I don't believe so 100%, but this definitely still was a good one. Once again, it seems like Perry Mason always manages to have a kind of a somber beginning and then manages to ramp it up towards the end, meaning episode by episode, not season, my bad. But honestly, so to speak, like, this episode kind of, it didn't feel like it moved the needle too terribly much. It did at certain points, but it was still like, okay, we're getting to that, certain point. But overall speaking, I think this was still a good episode. It definitely did not really keep me on the edge of my seat at times, but it definitely was like, setting up things. Like, this was, I think, the last setup episode they needed before they really nailed home the season. But yeah, with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Perry Mason. So we begin with Drake serving a subpoena to the detective, which apparently I knew this actor before, but so the interesting thing for me is that when I was reviewing the season prior and then I was reviewing the cast list, one actor in particular stood out because he was from Victorious. I forgot his name, sadly. He was the teacher on that show, and he was on this show. I'm like, I don't remember seeing you whatsoever, and I'm like, I'm double checking, because the cop that he served the subpoena to, I'm like, is that him? Did he just shave off his entire fucking hair? Just went bald and no beard? Like, I don't want to say it is. I want to say it, but I'm like, I'm not really sure. I'll find out by next week for sure. But anywho, so he serves the subpoena. He's screwed because, again, having a family, having this secret double life, this was not part of his plan. This was not part of the plan whatsoever. But to Perry's case, he does not care whatsoever. Meanwhile, for Perry, he is basically on high alert right now after someone broke into his house and left a message for him saying that I am here. I can't get into your house. So be wary. Perry decides to do all sorts of home improvements and build up his own security system, 1930 style. And honestly, I'll be honest, he really was very particular about this system. He really was. I want to say immediately we just get to the courtroom after this. Perry's still... Oh, actually, no way, I forgot. Perry is so very precautious that he's actually going through the fire escape in his apartment complex to get out of the building, which I'm like, dude, if you can do that, anyone can do that. I mean, like... Okay, it is what it is on that front. But anyway, Perry's very cautious right now. He's very, scared of certain things, which is fair. It is fair to see. Della's getting dropped out by Anita after just another night away. But of course, remember last episode, Della's not girlfriend, lover, person, aka Mike Baxter's daughter, found out about her new relationship and was not happy. So it seems like she needs to leave right now. And, Anita's more than offered to let her stay with her, considering the fact that they just dropped the I love yous. That I'm like, yeah, it seems fair to why don't you just move in with me? That just seems like the next logical step in our relationship. So Della doesn't quite accept it just yet, but she's considering right now, but she's still weighing her options. Meanwhile, I forgot the order. I don't know if we go to the first courtroom case of the episode or we're back at the office, but no, I think we're at the first courtroom scene of the episode. They're using the coin that the brothers had in their possession as the next piece of evidence, to basically say there's only 3 gold coins in the world. 2 of them are overseas. This is the only one here in America. So of course, this is the real legit one that McCulchen had on the night of his murder. And that's literally all they really have to do. And Perry's kind of dumbfounded, yeah, there's really nothing I can say right now to assist me in this matter, because again, like, that's kind of infutable. Like, you can't just prove like, oh well, the coin, well, like, there was like a secondary batch that was made in Russia. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that at all. So yeah, they call recess for a longer period this time around because they want to give the defense enough time to start their own case, their own side of the argument on the matter, which they don't seem to mind, considering the fact that the prosecution, for some weird reason, once again making another weird move, has decided to cut out 3 of their own witnesses in favor for the for Perry to go up next. So a little bit peculiar, their strategies, but it is what it is on there. Perry and Della decide to split up, with Perry still being a little bit more like, closed-minded with, like, just the fact that someone was in his, his private home. So he's still a little rattled by it. Della tries to get some drinks with the fellow DA, but he's like, nah, I got work to do. Leave me alone. Trying to, like, just, conduct himself professionally. I want to say we just immediately head back to the office. Like, I know we got a Drake scene. Yeah, no, so Drake recruits his brother-in-law to assist him with the matter of trying to figure out the connection between the kid from the last episode to this, whoever this the hitman is that hired the brothers to kill McCullen. However, I don't know why particularly he needs his brother-in-law. I think maybe just because he just has a better cover or something. He's well known around the neighborhood. I really don't know 100% for sure why. I guess it was just like to give him like some money, so to speak. And he agrees because, like, again, they as much as they got their main provider back, it's still not like a full sale business yet. It's still partially. So he's really just sitting around, just really not getting any work. So he agrees on that. Back at oh no, not yet. So Perry returns back to the office. He's visited by the detective that he served the subpoena to, and the detective is begging him, like, please, can you remove the subpoena or at least alter your questions, because I feel like if I know that if you give me any of these questions that you're about to ask me, my life is ruined. Like, I have to reveal my double life. My wife's going to know. My kids are going to know. They're going to leave me. My life is over. Perry's argument, 2 people are about to die. I may not be able to save them 100%, but I am able to save them a date with the news. So we need to find some middle ground here. Like, give me some more ammunition that you might have to help me out with my own case, and maybe I'll spare certain questions that would, be unfavorable to your side. He's like, fine, come with me. There's an area that somebody I discovered that would assist you greatly in your case. Perry's a bit precautious considering the fact this guy tried to kill him, like, not too long ago. So he needs some, like, insurance and, like, an act of will of good faith. Like, okay, you procure me something off the books. This is a free transaction to get my trust. And if you could do it for me, I'll come with you. Sounds like a fair trade. I want to say, I forgot what the next scene was. I know, I don't know if Perry goes back home right away. I think he does something else, but I'm blanking on the exact reason why he doesn't go back home just quite yet. I know Strickland, there's a scene with Strickland. He's trying to break into Perry's house. So, but it's not clear if he was the one who came into the house with the train. I don't think that's not his usual attitude. But he notices that Perry, like, double locked his entire house, and he's just like, like, what the fuck's going on? He tries to use this rubber band and pencil method to break open the chains, or at least, plop it open. But he fails, and the pencil actually stabs him in the finger. And honestly, I feel sorry for Strickland because, like, again, remembering from last episode, Strickland was kind of in hot water with his fellow boss because, remember, he's not supposed to play friendly with the enemy, and he's kind of been doing so. So, and also remember that that's a guaranteed job, guaranteed paycheck for his kids every week. So he kind of needs the money, but he's still helping out Perry. So definitely he's trying to get back in their good graces by, like, okay, let me get you something on Perry. But him being locked out of his house is like, like, not the victory he needs. Is like, this isn't what I need right now. This isn't what I need. I'm trying to remember what exactly Perry did that night. I know Della was working late at the office that night too. She gets a call by the rich woman that was courted to be a benefactor of McCullen Stadiums, but declined. That woman, she invites her over because they have similar taste in art. They smoke some weed together. They're just having a little bit of fun, but it's just like, It's kind of weird. Like I think the only thing of like of substance here is that there's the potential line of like she's trying to recruit Della for her own operations, like her own like business away from Perry. It is definitely useful because remember Della always is her own boss. She's always trying to be her own person, and as much as she appreciates Perry and everything, like it definitely is not what the path she's going to see herself go through right now, so to speak. And yeah, she's still going for school and everything, but like that's still not a guarantee like she's going to be a lawyer or anything like that. We cut to then the next day where the detective drops off the file that Perry requested. It's the file concerning the woman that McCullen had an affair with, but also that kind of he got her mentally damaged, if that's the right word for it. So he drops up the file. So the next day, Perry and Della are looking over it. They're trying to find any sort of like connection. There isn't really anything of substance here. They always just get the main identifier of like what she entirely had, which isn't the cause of a car accident. It's more of the cause of a strangulation. But their question is like, how would she get strangulated if that's not on the official reports? However, their conversation is interrupted when Perry's girlfriend, Ginny, shows up for their date night. So Perry has to leave, but Della agrees that she'll look after the files and she'll, see if she can find anything of sort. She does eventually find this mark on the woman's neck that matches McCullen's belt, indicating like, yes, McCullen did strangle her to a certain point that caused irreparable damage to her. And for some reason, Jeannie decides to take Perry to, I want to say it's K Barbecue or Hot Pot. I think it's Hot Pot, like the old-fashioned Hot Pot. Which I'm like, damn. Even back then there was Hot Pot? I did not know. Anywho. Damn, I forgot to bring my entire tea kettle with me. I'm thirsty. So they're just playing around. They're joking around. Again, it's still, like, for me, like, I know there's a sexual attraction to them. But I still don't really, like, at least at this point, I don't really, like, I guess it's the comfort feeling, like, why are they a couple? Like, it's not like they're really, like, bonding over specific things. Like, they're divorced. They like horseback riding. They have a similar sense of humor, which I'm like, okay, that kind of equals out to, hey, we're interested in each other. I don't know. I'm not really 100% sure about that still. I'm not really 100% certain. Drake's brother-in-law, meanwhile, is still sticking out the deli, and he finds the car in question. He writes down the license plate number. Meanwhile, Drake takes out his wife for a little dancing, a little night on the town. Drake's kind of trying to keep it in check. It's been a very rough couple of days since he had to torture that kid. So he's not feeling 100% himself, but he's trying to focus on just being a good husband, trying to be a good partner, just have a fun night. He notices a kid walking on the street with a similar pair of Converse, and he questions him, thinking that he's involved with whatever the higher-ups are. He's pushing him a little bit too far, even in my opinion, especially to the point where his wife had to literally knock some sense into him, which I'm like, dude, there's a time and place for business, and there's a time and place for, just trying to have fun with your wife. Anywho, so I want to say after that point, we cut back to the next day, which I think is the proper start of the deliberations, which I think that was the case. Yeah, so they start officially the deliberations for the defense side. Their first witness is I forgot his name. It's that politician, the one who's related to the sister of the woman, the brother of the woman who's currently disabled. They call him up, trying to establish kind of the connection of McCullen and just with the stadium. But when that doesn't really have any sort of real useful side to get them what they need, they switch over to the sister. And originally there's some leeway from the defense, thinking okay, what's the point of this? What's the point of this? This isn't anything near. This is not a case against McCullen. This is a case against the brothers, which is a fair point. But again, Perry's main goal is trying to get some of the slack off the brothers right now, and yeah. So I want to say afterwards. Yeah, so they're getting into it. He's bringing up the fact with the sister and just making the connections to everything. He is striking a nerve a little bit. However, Perry gets called over by Della, asking him let me take over the the questioning. I think I can nail this guy and get like some sort of real like audible reaction out of him. So Perry confers with the judge. He agrees mainly because Della does have some experience, some expertise. She has been studying, so she's not totally a novice. So he agrees. So Della goes up, interrogates the hell out of him. I'm gonna say that's a really well worthy. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Mainly just getting him to admit, like, yes, McCullen did sleep with my sister. Yes, McCullen did have a thing about, for some weird reason, surprising women during coitus. And yes, he did overdo it one time, and he did permanently paralyze her. So yeah, and while that's not, relatively for motive, he does admit that, like, yeah, he got drunk one night and did threaten him out loud. So sadly, that is on the record. Everything is on the record, and definitely it does strike a blow in the prosecution's case, because that does not mean McCullen is the angel that everyone assumes he is. So it definitely does not paint well for their side, as they're trying to give Perry some leeway, but like this is a major, not a big blow to them, but definitely it does sting a little bit that, like, this is the way that they're getting. I know Strickland gets called over by his superior again, just reminding him, like, you're helping Perry out, and we just we lost a pretty good leeway with the jury. That's not that wasn't the plan. Like, Strickland, you gotta perform. You one of our top dogs. Like, you gotta show something right now. Otherwise, you're gonna be let go. Gotta be honest with you. Della calls over Anita, asks her, like, if they could celebrate, because she had a very good day in court. She agrees, and she also takes her up on her offer to move in with her. But Della still has some unfinished business. She has to talk to her former lover just to explain to her everything. Which, again, I'm gonna tell you this. As much as I enjoyed the emotional cameos we've gotten from some of the season 1 cast, I find it a little bit kind of disserviceful, a little bit. Like, you bring these, like, if it was just, like, the one reaction, we never see her, like, she just left the house and everything, I could believe that. I still wouldn't think, like, did you really, like, fly them all the way up to filming just for that one scene, and then, okay, you're good, we're done with you. But the fact that, like, they gave her 2 scenes in 2 separate episodes, and we don't really get a line out of her. Like, okay, we did get a line in the last episode, but, like, we didn't really get, like, more, like, she was just there. Like, I guess she was, like, trying to service the store, but, like, it was kind of a little bit, like, a little bit distinct. Maybe I just have Last Man Standing, Last Man Standing fever on my brain or something. I really don't know. But also the fact that it reminds me a little bit when, in Sherlock Holmes 2, where they brought back Rachel McAdams' character for, like, a couple scenes and they kill her off, which, again, I know, trying to service trying to service Moriarty as being the big villain for this film, like being the ultimate villain to Holmes. I understand that, but for me, it was like, they could have maybe given her some more to work with, a little bit. It's not left clear of what happened to their relationship, whether or not it was, like, a smooth, like, thank you and goodbye, or was it, like, a messy argument? I really don't know. That's left ambiguous. I want to say, I forgot what was after this. I know Perry eventually does meet up with the detective again, and the detective shows them this ship remnants of the I forgot the term, the manifest, all the things that the boats were shipping on in secret. So as much as they all look like produce and something like that, actually what's inside is oil containers. So McCullen was trying to smuggle oil from another location to get extra money going for his stadium. So I'm like, okay, now we open a big barrel worm here, and definitely this could mean a big thing. But of course, there's still like a lot of more questions for them to fill. But this definitely would officially like put McCullen, like, McCullen is not the good person that he says he is. He definitely was doing some shady businesses, and you can't excuse the brothers for killing him for a reason. Of course, they still need to find, the person who hired the brothers, which Drake also goes off on his brother for, like, I was a little confused with this scene, because, like, he did his job, like, he got the license plate, but, like, Drake was still, like, left unsatisfied with that. He actually blew up in his brother's face, which I'm like, dude, first of all, it's your brother's house. He can kick you out whenever he wants, and he has the right to. You're a visitor. You don't have any authority in this household. And second, yeah, it's your wife's brother. Like, you really do not want to fuck with that right now. Especially you're not on good graces with her right now. So definitely Drake is not feeling so well on the teeth on this one. So I think after that we cut to the next day in court, but before we get to that, there is a small scene where someone is opening the Perry Mason office's door, and he gets in, but they get in, but we don't know entirely who it is yet. We're back at the trial where before the actual days are allowed to begin, the prosecutor calls over for a sidebar with the judge, and apparently he tells him that I have reasonable suspicion and reasonable confirmation that Perry Mason is holding the murder weapon in his possession and did not willingly put it into evidence. The judge pushes them away, tells them, like, this is not what I wanted. I did not need a media circus. I agree to take on this case, but I do not want a giant freaking juggernaut in my hand. And this is definitely not part of the agreement. So, Perry, you better tell me right now. Do you have the gun? Perry says, well, let me confer with Della. And she's like, okay, you know what? That is an admission. They do not agree to a court order, but the judge says, screw it. It's my court. This is my trial. So guess what? We're going to go to your offices after today, and we're going to check if the gun's there. And they got no choice. Like, as soon as they're done with the court for the day, they're going straight to Perry's offices to get the gun. Which Perry has no choice. And honestly, it would have been a really good way for, like, if Drake was in the audience, for, like, him to tell Drake, run as fast as you can, get that gun out of our safe. But honestly, it would have been too much work for him to do. So they awkwardly head back over to Perry's office. They watch Perry, take apart the secret safe. Opening it up, revealing the gun, and everyone's pretty pissed at Perry right now for holding this evidence. But the judge decides not to fully punish Perry just quite yet. They're going to continue with the trial as of no, but all of this will definitely continue to progress with the case as we progress further into it. So, but there's still a chance that Perry could still be prosecuted for his betrayal of the court. So definitely there is still going to be some consequences for Perry right now. So once they leave, Perry's pissed off the fact that, like, someone came into their offices, or at least had some knowledge that, like, the gun was there. Again, number one, Strickland. But again, like, we really don't know at this point. We really don't know. Perry's just, like, trying to, like, come up with every sort of name possible, like, who could be the person that betrayed us. He looks at the sign-in sheet and finds the only person that he knows that his girlfriend, which I'm like, dude, you better not. You better freaking not. But he does. He does. He goes over to her house, immediately yells at her, accusing her for everything. Ginny's like, no, I don't know anything what you're talking about. And I just feel so sorry for Ginny. Like, this is definitely not the way the scene I expected it to go. I definitely thought Ginny was just going to get mad at Perry admitting, like, certain things and then having Perry, like, look like an idiot. But no, Perry just immediately says, fuck you. Well, not fuck you, but more like just you lying sack of shit or something, which I'm like, Perry, you have no evidence. Like, you legitimately have nothing. Like, it's literally like you have your suspicion, but I'm like, until you have everything, don't blame the damn woman. The woman slept with you. The woman actually cares about you. It's not like anyone else is lining up to be Perry Mason's girlfriend right now, and you're really screwing that up, bro. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that, like, yeah, immediately he just leaves, and I feel so sorry for Jay. Shout out to Catherine Watson for, if that is her name, sorry, I'm pretty sure I butchered it again, that I can just sense the emotion in her face. Like, she is just confused, sad, and it hurts because, again, like, she's been through so much with her divorce and previous partners. Like, she thought Perry was just different, but, like, could be a pretty good guy. And then the fact that he came into her own apartment, yelled at her, accused her of something that she hasn't confirmed that she had done yet, and then he left without resolving the issue, which I feel for him. I'm like, no, Perry's the asshole here. He should have really just waited a little bit longer before he did anything. Then we get one last scene where Drake is driving around. He's taking upon to, like, look after the guy himself. He's about to start trailing the car in question, but a kid stops in front of him, and he notices the shoes. Once again, another pair of Converse. Drake tries to hunt him down, but the kid escapes pretty quickly. But sad to say, Drake is not at the happiest place right now himself. But that was the end of this week's episode of Perry Mason. For me, again, I feel like, again, Perry Mason, this episode had a little bit of a slow start, in my opinion, but definitely kind of picked up towards the end a little bit. I'm still a little bit, like, curious to see what everything's going to tie up with the oil and just the final puzzle pieces as we head into the final days of the case and everything. It seems like we're still... Oh, actually, no, I forgot one more scene. There was a scene where the younger brother was a little bit more cocky, where he thinks that Perry and Della's, day in court with the the politician could have definitely like guaranteed them like they'll be free, which I'm like, well, dude, no, like the whole goal of Perry's trying to do is just get you guys a lesser sentence. That doesn't mean you guys are leaving the prison. That's not gonna happen. But the brother doesn't know that. He starts yelling at the guards, calling them names. The guards also retaliated, and they eventually said, "Fuck it, we're gonna beat this kid up." So they all take him away to go give him a lesson, which I'm like, oh boy, this may not end so well. This may not end so well. But yeah, so going back to it, like, yeah, so it's still like there's still obviously the traditional murder mystery moment where like we need the whole scene, the uninterrupted scene where like the murder occurred or like the events leading up to it. I don't know if it's gonna be next episode or the finale. I'm gonna say it's gonna be next week's episode just because I feel like the finale hasn't enough to land on its feet right now. I just feel like there's still more that we should know. I'm not gonna say that Perry Mason needs to be this 10, 16 episode season, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like 2 full hours is a lot. You can definitely do a lot in 2 full hours, but like I'm not 100% certain for sure if everything's going to get wrapped up for sure, but we'll see. We will definitely see about that once we come back next week. But definitely I will admit Perry Mason is an asshole and definitely maybe he shouldn't get laid again after this week's episode, but who knows? But shout out to Mike Bastard's daughter for making her cameo appearance again this week. I will miss her dearly. But with that being said, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up still. I still very much enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Perry Mason. Let's have a conversation down below as always. But I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Perry Mason. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Perry Mason episode reviews. Currently, that's all we're doing. We're just doing Perry Mason episode reviews. But if you want to know what's up ahead for Perry Mason, we have 2 more episode reviews for the next 2 weeks. Then the week after the season finale, we will be going into a season 3 predictions video should we get one, and then also we'll be getting a season 2 review, non-spoilers for anyone who has yet to watch it themselves. But again, that's all said and done in the future. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionXvideos. Ring the bell for notification when our next video is live. Like, favorite, share, and also follow on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you Masoners out there, I'll see you all next week for the next episode review. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.